Um,
5
I don't know, like
seconds
this.
remaining.
I think RagedNerd are wanting to go for the early kills as possible. Yeah, they've got this
Reserve
sort of
time.
lineup where they can get the kills with the Gyrocopter, Shadow Demon, and Alchemist, and I think they certainly should. Bristleback's going to be in the off lane. In that mid lane, there's plenty of options. You know, Puck and OD have obviously been banned, but you've still got the Queen of Pain. You've still got something like a Kunkka if you want it. I guess you could even go Clockwork, big on the old school Clockwork mids, which I haven't seen in a while. Invoker's quite popular, so there's a lot of choice in that regard, and I think RagedNerd with this sort of lineup, I'm not sure how much roaming they're gonna do because your Gyrocopter is going to need to be safe. Against the Timbersaw, if you move your two supports out, it's always a little bit risky. At the same time, Mirana and Shadow Shaman, I think they're going to be roaming more because I think Weaver with
10
Shikuchi is going to be more
seconds
safer.
remaining.
So I think RagedNerd are going to be playing a little bit defensively while iCy are going to be playing
Dire
a little bit more
team
aggressively
pick.
with movement and
Man,
rotating around.
Magnus. What do we think about a Magnus? We have a great AoE stun in the Magnus. You have the skill to pull back everyone else. And power, though, you don't really get that clear from anywhere else on your side. I mean, you give a little bit of damage buff to, say, your Weaver. Maybe Mirana if you want to rotate her into a semi-carry position throughout the game. But it's not going to be doing as much as you want unless they want to try and run Magnus as a potential semi-carry and pick up some big damage items on him. And we do see that Invoker being picked up on Rage, so they will be trying to get a few stuns out or playing Invoker depending on what's needed to be done. Whether that be ganking, whether that be team fight or pushing with the Forged Spirits.
Yeah, but like that Invoker pick, we've seen him quite a lot recently, and against the Magnus he should be doing it relatively well. Magnus is obviously going to be popping out the shockwaves, and I actually quite like the way these items are going on the side of iCy. Picking up 2 Iron Branches and then getting pulled 2 Tangos, it means that he's got 519 gold at the moment. He's only going to need another 121 gold to pick up the bottle, and after that he can just spam his shockwave, get those last hits, and continue the harassment on that Invoker, which is a very, very good choice. So yeah, Magnus should be fine mid, in my opinion, for a while. It's going to depend a bit on the rotations, in my opinion. Particularly this Mirana, if she can get a nice arrow, it can mean a death in any lane.
And speaking of this arrow, it will be played by Raccoon, or for iCy. You do have in the fountain currently Lathan will be rounding up on the Shadow Shaman. Duster, I believe, is the stand-in for this side, will be on the Timbersaw. Bacon will be picking up Weaver, and finally but not least, Cripsy will also be running on that Magnus in mid lane.
And on the side of RagedNerd, we do have Cool Cats on the Invoker. We've got Darkness on Bristleback. We've got Stu sitting on the Gyrocopter. Some guy is on the Alchemist, and Sleep is on the Shadow Demon.
And, well, if both lane runs an aggressive trial, so you have your Mirana, you got your Shadow Demon, and you have potentially your Weaver, do you think they could stand up against Rage's trial lane of Shadow Demon, Alchemist, and a Gyrocopter? Or do you think or do you think iCy should try and stay for defensive, try and get some farm up on your Weaver? Or how do you think each side should start their lanes, and who do you think would come out beneficial in this early game?
This Weaver, I don't think. Actually, has anyone bought sentries? Yes, they have. So this Weaver, level 1 doesn't have ulti and all that sort of stuff. Even with Shikuchi, a combo like Shadow Demon Alchemist Gyrocopter absolutely can destroy her. You won't see the Weaver by herself unless they're playing a very, very risky, and which, in my opinion, they shouldn't be. They should be trying to help her out as much as possible. At the same time, heroes like Shadow Shaman, oh sorry, it's not Shadow Shaman, Shadow Demon, Gyrocopter, and even the Alchemist early on, they're pretty fragile. A good arrow followed with Shackle and Weaver as well, does a lot of damage early on, can certainly ensure that iCy get the first blood.
30 seconds.
But I really think that iCy should keep this tri lane and not go for. I think RagedNerd are going to go for the aggressive tri lane. So they should just try to basically go 3v3 in his bottom lane and ensure that Weaver gets farm.
And I'm not sure if the Shadow Shaman, yeah, they did see Sleep there as they ran past, so they know that they're just starting to retreat out. Pinging him once again, they should see that one ward has been placed. So they're going to be a little bit peculiar as to where that ward has been thrown out. It could be in the magic bush. They are thinking it has been used on the ward. Do they have any revelation? They do not. So luckily they're not going to be using any revelation and throwing out some money out the window, but that's going to be some nice free vision for Rage down at this bottom river, giving a little bit more defensive and survivability to Darkness, as he knows when the supports are rotating in to try and find themselves a kill.
I gotta say, Bristleback by himself here against these heroes, he's gonna have a bit of a hard time, because sure he does, you know, reduce damage from behind and all that sort of stuff, but he needs to get those levels, and he's gonna get harassed out of his lane constantly. I think Duster's in a better position than Darkness is here. Yeah, like Duster obviously has to be careful. Shadow Demon, Alchemist, and the Rocket Barrage from Gyrocopter can kill him very quickly, but Bristleback's actually just pulling Ancients. But yeah, I feel like iCy have a stronger tri-lane in this situation.
I really like this. Already, Darkness has just... Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I mean, like at the very least for the early game, I think they have a better tri-lane up against the Bristle. But yeah, already, as you were gonna say, Darkness has taken some hits and stuff.
Yeah, I love that he's already decided to try and stack this. Because, I mean, your Gyrocopter or your Alchemist, you want to own your Gyrocopter. But if you can start getting those stacks up and you work together as a team about the 5 or 6 minute mark, when there's a big 3, maybe 4 stack if you can get lucky up there, that is possibly a level at least to everyone, and maybe even 2 levels to the lower heroes, and a lot of gold that can go Gyrocopter's way. If you can get that early 1.1, 1.2k gold advantage, gold on your Gyrocopter, get that bigger item, maybe the BKB so he doesn't die, maybe go for something a little bit more hard hitting, such as MKB for that little bit of that word, mini stuns or something along those lines, then you can start hitting it harder and faster than what iCy expect you to come out, especially if they don't see that these camps have been stacked. So I really like this, that Bristleback, he's not too affected down the lane, he stacks, comes back in, absorbs some XP, and I wouldn't be too surprised if he stacks a little bit later on the net at the 3 minute mark.
It's like the stacking is awesome. I totally agree there. It's not gonna really like Gyrocopter's not gonna go for it for a little while, obviously, because it needs to get the farm and all that sort of stuff. But if MTS, oh sorry, not MTS, man, too many teams. iCy, if they spot this out with some good warding, they can ensure that they get it, especially since you've got Marana ulti. You Midnight Shadow in there, you can get some kills and end up picking up the stack, so they have to be careful. But at the same time, I totally agree, Darkness stacking these agents is important, because you want that Gyrocopter to get more farm than that Weaver as soon as possible.
But the problem is, with iCy, even if they spot it out, what can they do about it? They don't have anyone on their side that can clean it up. I mean, you have a Magnus with Empower, but you have no traditional melee carry on your side to help that out. So, I think even if they spot it out, sure they can be wary and watch and wait for Rage to come for it and maybe potentially find a kill, but I don't think there's any way they could clean it up for themselves.
Well, I don't think, yeah, like I can understand because you know there's no cleave sort of thing. But they don't even need to. They can just sort of group up and just kill them one by one. I mean, it doesn't all have to go to the Weaver, for example, all to one hero. As long as they basically stop the Gyrocopter from farming it, it's beneficial. Like even if they don't get it on the perfect hero, it's still a better situation than having Gyrocopter get 2 free stacks of Ancients or more potentially.
Mm. Well, the support's up on the side.
It's gonna be interesting.
Sorry, the support's up on the side of Rage as Bristleback's actually trying to get it for himself. That's different. Not what I was expecting. But Rage, the support's up here. They're doing nice. They're stacking it. They're trying to slow down as much as they can against this Timsaw. Timsaw still has been able to reach level 3. 2 points in that chain, 1 point in reactive armor. So he's not going for that aggressive build. Even against the dual lane heroes, dual and tri-lane heroes, we do see some Timsaws like to favour. Especially if there's a Shadow Demon on the other side. You jump on and kill him before you can do too much. Even if you have to trade your life, at least you get a kill before you go down if things do go pear-shaped. But the supports, they're consistently waiting to come in and jump onto this Timbersaw if he makes the wrong move. They've got sentries down, they've made sure he's got no vision whatsoever on the map, so If Duster makes one wrong move, he could easily find himself a kill. He does have Timber Chain level 2, 739 health, so at the same time he could easily get away.
Yep. In the mid lane, I gotta say, Cripsy's doing quite well. 22 last hits compared to 14 for the Invoker. And that's sort of thanks to the early bottle that he had, thanks to the pooling and whatnot. Now picks up a regen, and he just keeps spinning that, sending that shockwave, and he's gonna have a very early blink at this if this keeps going. Bristleback was forced back to base, and yeah, it seems like he wants the Ancients for himself, which, as you were saying, a very weird choice. He's only level 2, so I guess he does need the experience and gold, but I mean, this Weaver's getting free farm. I guess at the same time, Gyrocopter is in top lane though, so.
I mean, I wouldn't mind this if Bristleback was possibly level 3, because that's an extra 20 damage on your base core damage. That's basically double damage what you're doing now. This early on, I think it's a little bit strange. I mean, he once again got another nice stack after he's damaging all these crits, so he can get a lot of money and experience himself. But he's just walking backwards and forwards, and I don't think he's really paying attention to what these supports are doing on the side of iCy. And because he's not paying attention, they have smoked up. They're going to be looking for a rotation, and will Cool Cats be ready for this is going to be another question, another answer out of another blah 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 blah. Cripsy misses the reverse polarity, and I think that's got to be game. And now the supports of Rage are going to be rotating around themselves. I think he got too blood hungry there, bloodthirsty, and just ruined everything. If he'd waited for possibly an arrow to zone out, maybe Cool Cats to dodge inside, and then you could skew it and grab the reverse polarity, or maybe if the arrow landed, there's just so many possibilities he could have waited for. But instead, he got aggressive, he threw away the chance, and now the supports of Rage, they're here to counter this.
Wanted that.
Yeah, and they also have vision. I'm a little bit surprised iCy haven't done any dewarding so far, particularly on this mid area, but I guess at the same time, neither have RagedNerd. It's this Alchemist, sorry, not Alchemist, the Magnus, he's doing well in this mid lane, as I was saying before. He's going to have his, at this stage, he's probably going to have his blink by 12 minutes, 11, 12 minutes.
Charm of double harm.
So, they were holding... dangerous. Yeah, they'll hold on to a little bit of double damage, waiting for possibly the Magnus to come down and pick it up. Instead, the Storm Spirit, or Forge Spirit, came down, had a little look, didn't quite try and get the denial, but he just walked in there and forced Shadow Shaman to pick that up. So, Magnus isn't going to be able to bottle that or use it to his advantage. Just still a little bit of a
This game has been pretty passive.
Denied.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we were expecting them to put on a lot more aggression just because of the sort of heroes that they've got. And we've seen iCy, I guess, try a lot more than RagedNerd. Like, RagedNerd haven't done much rotation except for when Invoker was being threatened in mid, which is more other defensive reaction compared to aggressive smoke. So this game's been very passive. 7.5 minutes, no kills so far. Invoker now picking up his Midas, so is this extra farm for him, but at the same time, he's gonna need to get his bigger or some items up relatively soon, because if this Magnus has a blink by around that 12-minute mark, he can rotate around and cause so much havoc, just teasing him with the reverse polarity there as well.
I'm just waiting until he misses it and it's on cooldown.
And then just rage quits.
Just gone out of here, just over, no. Someone has to micro him around like a Chen. Actually, I remember playing a game once upon a time. I was a Chen working with creeps, and my friend DC'd, the other team wouldn't pause. Surprise, surprise. And I had to play with my friend, my 3 creeps, and myself. So that was a little bit strange to work with. And actually, we have an initiation up in top lane. They're going for it. Will they be able to find him? He's trapped in. He's creep blocked. This will be first blood. Going towards Stu on that gyrocopter. And that was a ridiculously lucky trap coming out from Shadow Demon and all those creeps. Perfect timing. TP reaction support came out from iCy, but there was just too much damage.
Wow, that was
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
that block basically ensured the kill there. Otherwise, he probably would have timber chained out in range of the tower, and RagedNerd could have continued on, but it would have been much more riskier.
And so they'll pick up the first blood. Down at bottom lane, you have the Bristleback. He's going hard against Bacon. He's taking a lot of damage. He decides he will run away after that Weaver has time lapse. So That's forced out the time lapse. Doctors, he still wants to get in there. He's still taking auto attacks from his tower. He knows the supports are up top. He knows the TPs aren't good, and they haven't been able to make it to the secret shop yet, or the outpost yet, so they haven't been able to pick up extra ones. So he's going to continue being aggressive towards Bacon, trying to force him out. I really like this player.
I gotta say, I don't like that Weaver hasn't picked up a wand up against the Bristleback. Bristleback spamming those kill spray. It
Top
basically
lane, we have
would
a
have meant that
rocket.
Weaver could have gone aggressive.
Yeah, top lane, we have a rocket coming in. They want to go aggressive. Not going to be the case. Timbersaw is here to try and show him down. Will they get the extra gold? No, it won't. The tower will ninja that from them.
So just once again, I guess a little bit of just saying, trying to create kills, but it's just not happening. Besides that one massive creep block in top, it's been relatively passive. In bottom, you know, Bacon was in a little bit of trouble, but I don't think Darkness on the Bristleback would have done too much more than he already did. Like, if he continued on there, he would have died. You don't want to give Weaver the kills this early on in the game, who I still think needs to pick up a wand.
Definitely, like, especially at early game, if you don't have the mana to use your time lapse, you're dead. And that's one of the things lots of players like to watch on Weavers. They watch the mana, they wait till he's under, I think it's 250 at the start of the game. No, it's 150. And they watch him expend his mana, chase him down, and then once he's out of that mana, hey look, you can chase him, kill him, and he's going to be expecting to have a time lapse, but if they're not paying attention to their own mana, you can easily pick them off. And Bristleback, he's just going to keep harassing him down, keep forcing Bacon back in. What does he have coming on the courier? He's got a heal himself and a mithril hammer, so he's going for a fast desolator.
Super fast desolator, and not a bad choice, but he has to be very careful, because if he starts to die before he has his second mithril hammer up, it's just going to be wasted really, because at that point that desolator won't be quick anymore. It's going to be too slow to the cancelled smoke.
Yeah, I was like, oh look, a smoke, and then Magnus is like, nope, I want farm.
Yeah, give me those creeps, delicious creeps. Raccoon though, he's here with the arrow, and they still don't know about this Bristleback, which he managed to actually get quite a lot of these ancients.
And he's at least been able to grab a little bit of farm himself. I mean, he's on par with Timbersaw now, and Timbersaw was up against not as an aggressive trial as you'd hope. I mean, Shadow Demon Alchemist, you'd want them to be more aggressive than what they were. Sure, they did pick up first blood, but how long ago was that? That was 9 minutes into the game when you expect them to be finding almost kills at 3-4 minutes into it. But then the same could be said about iCy. You have a Mirana, you have a Shadow Shaman. These two heroes should be rotating around trying to find players around the map. Whether that be in middle, onto the Invoker. They tried early, Cripsy ruined it, and then what do they do then? They've given up on any chance of roaming around the map. They're just sitting down bottom and making sure Bacon's not going to die. But Bacon's in no chance of dying because the supports on Rage have been bouncing between middle and top, trying to, you know, just hold lanes a little bit. Not as good as they should have been because they haven't been able to find anything, but they've just been bouncing backwards and forwards. Something I really feel as if Mirana and the Shadow Shaman should be doing right now.
I gotta say, this is a little bit. I don't mind the Shadow Shaman and Rhino not getting as many kills because they're still doing very well in terms of experience compared to the Alchemist and Shadow Demon, who aren't doing as well. Like this Shadow Shaman, he's almost level 6. You know, he's 300 experience off level 6.
In mid lane, actually, we've got an initiation. We've got to disrupt onto a Sunshine. RP onto 2. Is he able to skew away? He does. He brings some game with him, and that's not the guy you want to bring along. And they're going for Cripsy. He's not going to be able to pick up a kill. Will he get auto attack down? And Focus going for it. And the Shadow Demon pops his poison, and that will be another kill. Going in favor of Raged. And an arrow actually lands on Cool Cats, but there's no follow up. There's no one else here to help him out.
Yeah, that hurts. I mean, it made it slow as his blink, so it's not too bad. Like, if that stopped his blink for just a little while longer, it would have been much worse. I gotta say, he already has his blink, so it's not a terrible loss, but certainly, obviously you don't want to be dying, no matter what the situation is. But it could have been much worse there for iCy.
Could have been much worse. And Shadow Shaman is still trying to work towards his level 6. At the same time, Doctor's doing a lot of damage down to Bacon. They do hex him up, so a little bit of wasted mana coming out from Wayfon just to try and make sure Darkness doesn't do too much to this Weaver. But too much is not an option for Darkness. He's just done so much damage, and we still don't see a wand. Actually, we do see a wand. Yes, we got a wand up on Bacon. Thank you, Bacon.
It's just a stick, actually. Not a wand yet.
No! Bacon, you're letting me down, man. Down.
Yeah, he does have 1.4k though, so he will have his second Mithril Hammer very soon. Once he has that second Mithril Hammer, it's hard to deny him the Days Later, because I mean it's only 900 gold for the recipe, and for a Weaver that's like 2 minutes of farm, 3 minutes of farm maximum. Well, it should be maximum 3 minutes of farm, which is still going to be very quick here for him.
These Forge Spirits, what a pain in the rear to deal with. They're chasing down Lathan. Will they be able to get him? They're stacking up the armor. Can they get 2 more? They do get it. They find an easy kill on a defenseless Shadow Shaman. You had a Raccoon who stood there trying to auto-attack him down, but Forge Spirits don't really care. They would still chase you. But that's a very easy kill for this Invoker.
Yeah, that's I mean, he doesn't get the experience, but at the same time, he does get the gold, which is nice. And he does have his Yule. Well, he should have his Yules up in just a second. He's got a few items in the courier. Just needs to send it all over the cross. Finish that off. And once he has that, certainly he becomes a lot more important in these engagements. I mean, he already is very important. Invoker's a very utility-based hero. Can dish out so much damage in complete turnaround team fights. Actually, we might have another engagement in mid.
We do. We had an arrow that whiffed once again, unfortunately, for Akum. He hasn't been able to land many arrows. He hasn't had the support. Some guys getting a little bit out of position there. If any kind of stun or lockdown came into them, he would have been in a lot of trouble. But Magnus, he has a blink dagger. I'm not sure if he's shown it. He's going to be ready to jump on in. Can we see a massive turnaround? Unfortunately, we have a Shadow Shaman and a Weaver down in bottom lane, not ready to jump on in. Will we see the Glyph B pop? Glyph this pop. TPs. Where are they? Come on, TPs. Still no TPs. This tier 1 tower will go down. RP is on 3 heroes. Skewer going down. He pushed them outside of the Chakram, but there should be a lot of damage coming out. Duster, he's going to go down. Bristleback doesn't care. He's going to continue ripping through his hero. Only the Alchemist has fallen. The time-lapse has been popped. Cool Cats is not dead yet. Bacon's coming through. Can he get the final auto attack off? He can. Actually, he gets popped up into the side from a very early Yule Scepter. He goes down to the Sakuchi. Bacon's in a lot of trouble. He does fall down. That's a 2 for 3 trade. We do have the respawn from Rana. Can she get back in time? Lathan, he will once again die thanks to his Forge Spirits and Darkness, and that is a 4 for 3 trade in favor of Raged.
And the tier 1 tower. Like, they got iCy got a tier 1 tower there as well, but that was totally in Raged's favor. That the Chakram completely missed, and I think that was one of the big things that basically ensured that fight went so well for Raged, because that Chakram would have done so much damage, and unfortunately they screwed him out. Timbersaw died very early there, and before you could basically get very many abilities off, it just basically fell apart after the skewer. The RP was nice, it landed on 3-4 heroes, but the follow-up was they didn't communicate well enough.
And I just want to point out, Spectre Dodo, you are watching in chat, and guess what? Bacon, he went for Desolator, not like your BKB you thought, so I just wanted to point that out to you, just for a little in your face.
He was going Desolator from the start.
Yeah.
Like, the moment he had that first Mithril Hammer, it's a Deso.
I mean, it's not very viable to rush a Weaver with a BKB. I mean, sure, you do have that extra defense, but if you want that extra defense, you usually go for a Wicked Sphere because it gives you that extra damage and mana regen. And Bacon's going to be in a lot of trouble here. There will be a TV come from Darkness, and he's happy enough to run in there and put himself in the line in front of these heroes, which are actually TPing down bottom. They're looking for a fight. Oh, P onto 2 heroes. Skill back in. That's 1 down. Stu is going to fall shortly after, and that is what they needed to turn this back around. RP and a double kill underneath their tower.
Yeah. Also, just one thing I want to mention, just regarding to BKB first, because we were talking about it.
Actually, top lane, we might have a little action. He's looking at going in. Lathan, he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to try and shackle. His shackle's underneath the tower, but will it be enough? This TP spot coming in Darkness. He's going to run. He should be able to get out of here. But we've got a blink. Do we have a skewer? We do not. We had a shockwave, and Darkness is going to be able to survive. He's got a skewer in now. He's got a shockwave in 1 second. Will it be far enough? Darkness dodges like a pro and will survive. This nice shot coming out by Shadow Shaman, but not going to be enough.
I gotta say, great defense there from iCy though. Good TP from Cripsy to show Leifon survives. They almost got a kill. They didn't, but at the same time they didn't lose anyone, and it was Rage's engagement. But now Moonlight Shadow propped. Raccoon just doing a little bit of scouting, trying to see what he can. Maybe they can pick up something here.
And they found some guy. Yeah, will you be the next guy to die? No, he won't. So he's gonna be able to dodge that arrow. At least he's paying attention. Some people, they just click back at base and just walk away. Luckily, he was watching his hero and were able to dodge that arrow pretty easily. I know I would have been one of those people. I would have clicked back at base and gone hit because I am completely terrible at this game. Scrub for life.
Yeah, I know how you feel, man. But this is, I gotta say, this is for iCy is looking good at the moment. They're not ahead in kills, but they are ahead in towers, and they're really starting to pick up some momentum. That Magnus with the blink, he's going for, I'm going to guess he's going to go for a BKB just to ensure that he survives there in those fights. And yeah, there's a Mithril Hammer, so BKB for him. Shadow Shaman level 6 already putting his wards to very good use. They're just going to go for the mid tier 1 tower, and this is why I don't think from the start that Weaver was going to go for a quick BKB.
And we go with the Hex coming out into darkness. We got the wards being thrown out very early. RP, it will be onto all 5 heroes. Oh, actually all 4 heroes. Skewer, Shockwave, all the death in the world. Darkness, you're now in a lot of trouble, mate. They're going to be chasing him down with the nice Desolator bonus damage. He's on negative armor. Can they pick him off? Will they lose anyone? They don't lose a single person. iCy take a massive team fight, massive turnaround, and they're going to get a tier 1 tower in mid.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Wow, that's that was huge for iCy. Yeah, they're just going to. I mean, we just look at the gold graph at the moment. We had Raged at about 2k gold advantage, and that's been completely turned around in the last 4 minutes. Wow, complete turnaround. That's massive. And I gotta say, Shadow Shaman is a lot to thank for that. Of course, Magnus with the RP, but those wards are doing wonders. Firstly in that team fight, but also picking off those towers.
And that was crazy. Cripsy, he's making up so much for what he did at the start with that unfortunate miss out in the first blood, but now he's showing what he's up to. He's now picked up a BKB. He's going to be happy. No one will be stopping him anytime soon. Speaking of BKB, Weaver is now working to that BKB, so he's got his aggressive item up, he's offensive, now he's working towards a little bit of defense. Once he has that BKB up, what will Rage be able to do to these 2 heroes? These 2 very big, strong heroes. Both of them sitting at the top of the net worth, sitting on 8.5k or more. And then you have your Invoker, 7.5, Gyrocopter's now 7k, working on those ancient stacks.
Yeah, Gyrocopter's actually not opted for the quick BKB, which I think is a very bad decision. There's a lot of damage coming out in terms of, you know, AoE and magic, as we just saw in the last team fight. iCy have Timbersaw. If you pick up a BKB, that Timbersaw does no damage. You can still get RP'd, but you won't take damage, etc, etc. I mean, like, the Weaver obviously is going to be destroying you with the Desolator, but at the very least you're not going to be, you know, taking so much damage from this Timbersaw, who can absolutely decimate. And same with, you know, the Marana's Starstorm and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like the quick Helm of Dominator probably not the best choice from Gyrocopter, especially since he hasn't been stacking with it.
With a sentry come down underneath the Moonlight Sentries, we've got the Serpent Wards burning through some guy. He's not even going to be able to get his stun off. We have a Meteor coming doing a lot of damage to Leify will fall, so will the Marana. That's 2 vantage kills for either side, so it's 2 all. Will they be able to find any more? Shadow Demon does fall down. Duster, he's trying to find whatever he can. And then Bristle Boss will pick off another kill, but he will die for his insolence to that Weaver. Will they be able to find the Cure? No, they won't, but that's a 4 for 2, and iCy, they're going to be happy about that. They're going to continue working this tier 2 tower. Cool Cat, will he be able to defend this himself? He doesn't have any Invokes up. He now has some Forge Spirits, but this is a lot of damage coming towards the tower.
Middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't push out too far to defend this because of those sentries. Sorry, the wards which are going to fall. And the Bacon's doing a little bit of damage. But yeah, a 4 for free trade is still in iCy's favour for sure. They're now 4 kills ahead. And that graph is continuing to go into their favour. They're going to keep pushing on these towers, which is exactly what they should be doing, particularly with a fast Desolator on Weaver, because those towers melt. Like, that armor reduction is insane, and just the Geminate attack, the extra attacks just destroy towers. He's got his BKB, he can have his BKB if he just buys the recipe, And once he has that, I don't understand how they're gonna kill him. They're gonna have to like lock him down before he gets a chance to pop the BKB.
Because once he has that BKB popped, as you said, time lapse, GG, game over. You're not killing him. That's the end of that chapter.
Yeah.
Maybe after about 4 or 5 engagements, when his BKB time is down to about 4 or 5 seconds, then sure you have that opportunity to kill him. Maybe at the end of the fight or in the midway of the fight. But at the moment, these engagements, they aren't about sustained. A lot of team fights is about the sustainability, who can last longer. At the moment, it's whoever gets the engagement. You saw iCy, they had an RP, they won the fight. Rage, they were defending underneath their 2-2 tower, but they had the counter initiation with a sentry, seeing what was happening under iCy's prevalence, when they thought they had a complete and utter surprise. So they were able to turn it back around. It comes down who can get the better initiation, and they will take these fights, because at the moment, it's all about burst.
Oh, definitely, and with a Magnus on the side of iCy, those engagements are almost always going to, like, even if you get engaged on, if you target the Weaver first, it means Magnus is going to just freely RP, and then it's going to give a Weaver a chance to time lapse and then BKB, and then what you're going to do. But at the same time, like, as well as Marana ulti actually, and in fact there's a sentry. Once again they're going in on this tier 2.
Yeah, they just don't understand that there's a sentry there, and Rage, will they be able to react in time? Once again, the arrow lands on some guy. He's not going to do anything for the second engagement in a row. Bacon is going to be careful. RP will land onto only Stu, but will be enough. Gyrocopter's the man in this fight. He's going to pick off one. Will they be able to pick off a second one? He's trying to man up. There's 2 heroes down, but Gyrocopter does fall. Bristleback won't be able to find anyone himself, and now 2 heroes there on the retreat. Dust is going to TP out there. Shadow Shaman's trying to man up against Cool Cats. Cool Cats will pick him off. So it's a 4-for-4 trade on either side.
Dustin's just like, I didn't get out. I don't think Alchemist died, did he?
No. Yeah, Alchemist once again died at the start of the fight. First hero to fall.
Okay. Okay, cool. So it was 4-for-4, but they got the tier 2 tower, which obviously so it's beneficial for iCy there. They dived a little bit too far, I feel. iCy. They dived past the tier 2 tower right into Gyrocopter ulti, and Rage were basically able to even it up. But at the same time, there's the blast on Timbersaw. But at the same time, you're losing a tier 2 tower just because of the wards from Shadow Shaman. I can't believe Dustler just ditched Layphon like that.
It's like, nope, I'm out of here. I'm not dead. But once again, Rage, because they had that sentry ward, pre-positional sentry ward, they were like, oh, okay, let's just back off and try and take this on our own terms. They got back really far. iCy, once again, oblivious to the fact that they knew that they were there, kept trying to force the aggression, and then they gave away a 4-for trade. You look at Invoker. Invoker just recently had 3.8k. Now Invoker's spent it on a Blink Dagger, which I definitely do not agree with. I would have preferred something more aggressive, such as maybe a Desolator for your own side. Okay, Blink Dagger works then, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, we got initiation from Layphon. He's jumping up to sleep. Will they be able to pick off the Shadow Demon? The Bristleback does pop that mechanism. Sunstrike comes down, doing a lot of damage to Layphon. Layphon goes down. The Shadow Demon's down. We have one RP person caught in that, and now Invoker's on the run trying to get out of there. Bristleback's trying to find whatever their damage they do. They do pick off the Marana. Some guy, this is the first time he's going to be initiated into a fight. He will fall down shortly after, and Invoker, will he die? Cripsy's looking. He's going to be looking for the skill. He's going to miss the skill. Will he get that lucky Shockwave? Shockwave! He's not going to do it, and then we'll see the blink out from that Invoker. But that's 4 heroes for 2 in favour of iCy.
He's actually still chasing. He'll blink into the base.
Good old Cripsy.
But yeah, the range is not there, and they'll get a tier 2 tower for the troubles. But nonetheless, 4-for-2 and a tier 2, that was very well in iCy's favour. And I gotta say, Rage did have the uphill advantage initially.
Now they started off
that
quite
wasn't even
well.
a great RP. Yeah, I mean that wasn't even a great RP. I mean we landed on 1, and yet at the same time, iCy coming out on top. I mean that's a big deal. Like a lot of these team fights we've seen them be in iCy's favor because of the RPs landed on 3 heroes or so. But that was just this one hero RP and it didn't matter. Unless I'm
I guess the good point
right.
is
Yeah,
it landed on the most important hero at the moment on Rage, and that's
true.
Gyrocopter. I mean, there was already one person dead. Shadow Demon was gone. Invoker was nowhere to be seen. And BKBs were popped from that Invoker, so he was running around trying to do whatever he can, but you landed on Gyrocopter, RP damage, followed up by your Shockwave, your Skewer, and the rest. You picked him off before he could get some flak damage going. I'm not even sure if he got a cooldown off in that fight, so you got rid of one of the key heroes, took him out fast, and then you just dwindled down the rest of the side of Raged. But as you said, it wasn't the best RPs, it was only on one hero, but it was on the one hero that mattered most.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of an awkward engagement in general from iCy, because it was basically Shadow Shaman walking in, and he was the only one there, and he shackled. But nonetheless, they still came on top, which is obviously the important thing. I gotta say, Shadow Shaman's picked up a double baser, which a little bit unusual. I can understand he wants to get a little bit tanky. You generally only see one, and then move into something like maybe a drums before moving into his bigger items. One thing that I feel that they're missing, iCy here, is a mechanism, because currently they don't have one up, and it would certainly mean that those team fights, there's just no contestation.
And they went for the TP and to get out of them and try and move out Shadow, but Rage, they were all engaged. We have the Hex come down to darkness once again. Lathan loves this bristleback. He will see an arrow land. That is a 5-second arrow. It does get defensively disrupted. The cocktail will come out, will land into Lathan. Lathan hasn't thrown out his wards. Will they be able to force him to throw out those wards? He's going to try and run away from it. Bristleback doing a lot of damage. The Timid Saw trying to throw out that charcoal. There's the wards coming down. This is where Rage need to retreat, but they're standing in a fight. RP onto all 5 heroes. Skewer, Shockwave. This is an absolute massacre. Kill Cats, he's going to get picked off with the final auto attack coming out from either Cripsy or the Bacon, and this is going to be game over for Rage. That RP pretty much will seal their fate. I mean, that was so big. That's going to send them so far higher up in the gold and XP charts. It's not even going to be funny. They're going to pick up a Roshan, they're going to pick up gold, and pick up an Aegis that they don't even need.
Well, once they have this Aegis, I mean, one of them is going to go reverse top surely for the free farm, and once they have this Aegis, they can go for that tier 2, the last tier 2, and then they can go for a tier 3. And Rage, I mean, they can still probably defend if the engagement's a little bit poor, just because I see trying to engage uphill, even if you do have an RP, can be quite awkward. You probably won't have vision unless you place a very nice ward in a position where RagedNerd doesn't spot it out.
Oh.
Have I DC'd from the game?
That's happening to me too. This...
Oh no!
Australian servers, please.
Yeah, it seems like they've gone down, because, okay, this is bad.
Do we have a save? Are we able to save it? No, I don't think...
We should, but I don't know how. I have no idea how to load it.
Well, this could be...
Can we reconnect?
Very, very bad.
Yeah, I'm able to reconnect apparently. It seems to be okay. We're back in. Okay, we've got a pause, although everyone's like back at their base.
Well, that was interesting. So, let's introduce the
Oh my
teams.
God!
What? It got completely reset? Holy crap!
No, it didn't. It didn't.
Because all I
I
see
was
is...
just gonna say the Aegis. They killed the Roshan. Aegis is still in the rush pit.
Because all I see is like nothing. There's no items on anyone. I can't see anything.
Really? I can see all the items. I can't see the kills. It's 0-0 in terms of the kill score. That should fix up. That just happens when you DC. That should fix up once one team gets a kill.
Because I know that usually fixes
Okay.
up, but I just can't see an item or anyone. I can't see trees. I can see creeps.
Yeah.
Got a map.
Okay. Well.
Wow.
Hopefully once it, maybe it's just because of unpause. Like unpause, a pause while you're DC'd causes a lot of issues as well. So maybe once the unpause happens, things will fix up.
Yeah, sweet. I got some items now. Sweet. Well, I kind of want to see a horse race to this Aegis. I want to, but I don't think we will.
Yeah.
Actually, we have some TPs.
I think we will.
Like, oh shit, we need to get this, but I don't think Rage know that anything's going to be happening here, but at least they get the Aegis. iCy does anyway.
They're not gonna know about the Roshan because they DC'd just before it died, I think.
Oh, so they're just gonna, there's gonna be a blind Aegis that'll come out of nowhere. Invoker's gonna be scouting out there.
Yeah, but okay, this should be a push now coming out from iCy. Oh, servers! Yay! Um, Weaver looks like she's going for the Daedalus next, which is going to be huge because already with the amount of right click damage she does, picking up a Daedalus, even Bristleback is gonna completely melt with any sort of crit.
And now we're just waiting. We're waiting for the next RP to come out. Rage, they need to not be grouped up. I mean, look at them already. They're already 4 heroes grouped up. They need to split out and spread up. Sleep is doing the right thing. He's standing on the other side of the map. The rest of these heroes, if they want to get back into this game, they can't be standing next to each other like that. They need to chip, they need to defend, they need to wait for iCy to make one wrong move like they always have. But they're going on here. Meatball with a deafening blast, only lands on one. RP onto 3 heroes, skill back into an entire group of AoE. Mirana does fall. Gyrocopter's doing a lot of damage trying to get rid of these heroes. We do see the Shadow Shaman falling down to the Gyrocopter once again. It's 2 for 2. Can Stu, he picks up a third one. The Aegis has been popped, so it's a 3 for 3 trade with the Aegis going down. And now they're chasing down Cripsy. Actually, no, Bristleback's gonna die. There's no chance of him escaping there. And that's 4 heroes down with an Invoker left to defend. And that should be a tier 3 tower, at least some chip damage. Do we have buybacks available? We do have a buyback available on the Invoker if he does die. Gyrocopter, he does have buyback, but he doesn't want to. I feel as if he should to try and stop this, because I mean, look at these healths of these heroes. Gyrocopter, buyback, please.
I gotta say that's I totally agree with you there. I gotta say iCy actually they targeted the Bristleback for a long time there, where they could have killed off the Invoker and the Gyro earlier, but nonetheless.
So they find 1 kill up on the Magnus, they get the Deafening Blast and the Meteorite coming on down. Sleep's got to be throwing him into Disruption, but they don't have any combined power with the Alchemist Stun as it is currently on cooldown. So Timsaw should be able to get away here. They tried to dust up and catch him, but the dust was kind of wasted.
I feel like he could have turned around there and gotten the kill and sleep, and then just backed out again. Like Timbersaw's so tanky at the moment. He had his pipe of insight up there as well, and they can't right click. Invoker can't. He has to cast spells, and he had no mana anyway. Shadow Demon, nothing he can do. Not against the pipe. And same for Alchemist. Alchemist is going for support, so he doesn't have any right click damage. But nonetheless, I mean, it's an exposed Rax here for iCy. They're not going to be disappointed with that. Sure, they would have liked the Rax, but they could just basically push at any time. They can get a ward up there if they want to, so that way they have vision and can pick an engagement which would favor them.
And Invoker's going to walk over to the secret shop. He's going to pick up a full Aghanim Scepter, and that's going to be a little bit more tanky and do a little bit more damage. And if he's on the ball, throw out every single spell he has available in about 3 seconds. But we'll see what this Invoker can pull for the Aghanim Scepter. That can be a game turner, because if you can get a Meatball, Sunstrike, Deafening Blast, Cold Snap, every possible move in the book, at least on 1 person or 2, you will find yourself a kill or 2, especially on some of these squishy heroes. Like you saw the Shadow Shaman, he got burnt down hard by the Meteorite, and then the Flat Cannon picked him off with the Gyrocopter, because Flat Cannon at the moment, it's hitting 180 in an AoE, and whoa, they went for an arrow, they're not going to find it, it gets RP'd, solo RP, they will find a kill on Situ, even if he pops that big hit. Luckily he didn't, but that's a 60-second death timer, and that's going to be hard. That should be a tier 2 tower, they can't fight without him.
Yeah, they picked off Stu there, and it doesn't really matter if they pop the RP, because refreshes, and they've got it again.
Apparently,
does not matter.
In Skype, our mics aren't on. But anyway, we have to go into this. We do have a TP from a buyback Gyrocopter. Will he be able to get on here? We have Bristleback. He's standing in the middle of nowhere. He's not doing too much damage. RP once again on 4 heroes. Cripsy showing us why he is the man. And now they're chasing down Situ, who bought back for nothing, to pretty much die in front of their side. And oh, that is going to be game. Shockwave up in a few seconds. We've got to blink to make sure he's not going anywhere. And Shockwave. That is a team wipe. And I see they should be taking this game from here on out. I mean, there's an exposed mid-racks, and there's about to be a top racks. And the GGs are called. I see will be taking this game. Very, very great game.
Yeah, I mean, shame about the DC, and if anyone can actually hear us, apologies for the lack of sound. Unfortunately, we have no idea what's going on and why it's happening. Thank you guys very much for watching. This has been a Defense of the Australians broadcast. I've been Zelarif. I've been joined by Yoshi. Big thank you to our sponsors, Weather. If you'd like to follow us, you can follow me at twitch.tv/Zelarif or at ZelarifDota for Twitter, and you can follow Yoshi at youtube.com/Yoshi or Yoshi for Twitter.